This is Hannibal here from the Hannibal TV on YouTube. Beautiful Saturday. Let's hope that Hulk Hogan is feeling better. We've had no update from him really in the past 24 hours. But let me go over the details according to Dave Meltzer of what went on with this information about Hulk Hogan allegedly being on his deathbed, being leaked out by his former best friend Bubba the Love Sponge. So let's jump into it here. Bubba the Love Sponge publicly said that he heard Hulk Hogan was in the hospital for heart failure and may not make it. Eric Bischoff then responded, quote, Hulk Hogan had very successful cervical surgery and is experiencing some adverse reactions. He's doing well and should be home later today. Doctors, and that's the end quote of Bischoff. The surgery actually, contrary to what Bischoff said, the surgery actually took place a few weeks ago, and he was brought back to the hospital due to the complications, and it's unknown if he's home yet. Bubba knows a lot of the same people as Hulk. Bubba used to be his close friend, close enough that Hulk would share Bubba's wife with him. And I admit, Bubba's wife at the time, despite Bubba being quite pudgy, his wife was a lot better looking than Hulk Hogan. The wife is no longer with Bubba. But at one point, with Hogan's permission, Hogan had sex with Bubba's wife, with Bubba still in the house, knowing it was going on down in the office. He allowed it, and he secretly taped it with the idea of possibly extorting him later. And it was through this tape that it came out. Hogan admitted according to Meltzer, in this tape, Hogan admitted that he was a racist because he was mad that his daughter was dating a quote unquote N-word. And he said, actually, in his own words, he was a little racist in this bedroom pillow talk, but he felt it would have been okay if this guy had been an NBA player or something. She ended up dating a white NHL player that she recently had twins with, by the way, but supposedly she no longer talks to Hogan or Linda. Supposedly the tape was then stolen out of Bubba's office and leaked out by Gawker, which ruined Hogan's reputation. He was taken out of the Hall of Fame until everything blew over. And he ended up suing Gawker and making millions and millions of dollars. So again, Bubba knows some inside information. He's not known for being that honest of a person at all. Neither is Hogan, neither is Bischoff. So the truth is somewhere in between all of it, but it's safe to say, and it was even news in Canada because my parents texted me this week because I'm in the US right now. For anyone that doesn't know, my mom said she heard on the local radio news in Canada that Hulk Hogan was in the hospital. So there you go. Barley broker my shoulder. Appreciate it. They'd be hating on Hogan, Paul. I think the whole Paul Roma thing backfired on him because he made this MMA challenge to Hogan, who was already handicapped, but then it like came out the next week. Hogan's in the hospital fighting for his life. So, Paul Roma, I don't think your stupid little MMA challenge is going to work. And the secret is you never acknowledge people underneath you, and Paul Roma is so far underneath Hulk Hogan, there's no reason for him to ever acknowledge that slimy little scumbag. As far as I'm concerned, just a total, I won't even bother going into the negative experiences I've had with Roma, because he's not worth the time. But Despite Hulk Hogan's controversies, let's hope that he's not going to die here. Someone mentioned Flair. Flair's also has the most serious type of skin cancer now from years of being out in the sun. I don't know if he had a warning about this and still continued going out on his boat without a shirt on, because he did mention in a statement when Flair pulled out of a bunch of recent appearances. Flair mentioned that he hadn't been taking care of himself and it's caught up to him. So, I mean, when you get the minor issues, you should really start taking better care of yourself, or it's going to develop into that very serious form of skin cancer. He is 76 years old, 2 years above the national average, but he's going through treatment for the skin cancer now. So let's all wish despite them both being highly controversial, and Ric Flair telling one of my friends a couple weeks ago that he quote unquote doesn't have time for him. When he asked Ric Flair if he would do a little interview for the Hannibal TV, Flair said, "I don't have time for you." So he's still a real charming guy in person. By the way, he was drinking at the bar at this point. So he hasn't actually, as much as he says he's taking care of himself, he's still going to bars and drinking. Awesome Sauce, thanks for the $5 tip. He says the irony is people say Hogan is irrelevant, but constantly still message him because he's the only wrestler big enough for headlines. I will tell you guys the truth. Hulk Hogan is one of the most popular topics on my channel. Way more popular than anyone else, including The Rock. So he is still the biggest wrestling star, like him or hate him. And yes, people talk about him for money. I don't agree with all that stuff he did. And as much as he lies in interviews, his interviews are still highly entertaining. So I'm still partly a fan of him, although I struggle with some aspects of him. Chris, I was just thinking last week I should check in with Ken Patera. So I'm probably going to do that. I am going to interview live Vince Russo next Friday at 8 a.m. Central Time, 9 a.m. Eastern. So I know even Russo has changed his tune about Hogan, because let's just face the facts. There's no one even close to eclipsing him. And I think Cena's latest run, that's pretty much falling completely flat, is not really going to help Cena's legacy in the end, because it's not a drawing run for WWE. It's kind of a really flat run, and I don't know if The Rock sabotaged him on purpose on that. Who knows? There's still a lot of political stuff that goes on backstage. Hogan was a good politician, but so is The Rock. So is Triple H. And yeah, I think Cena at one point learned to speak Chinese and was sucking up to communist China, who skin and boil dogs alive there before they eat them, because it releases a hormone in the dogs of fear and pain that apparently makes them taste better. So I'm not a big fan of that place or Cena's support for it.